Now for the last MCU movie of 2017, and that is Thor Ragnarok. It came out in November 2017, right around my birthday, and I most recently watched this on February 9th, 2019. There were a lot of good, funny moments in this, and you know, I love Get Help. There are about three moments that really stood out, and they all kind of relate to the central topic that I want to talk about, and you'll see when I get there. The first one is Thor is talking to Valkyrie, and he says, sorry, I'm not going to sound like Chris Hemsworth, so it's going to sound eh. Keep drinking, keep hiding, but me, I choose to run toward my problems and not run away from them because that's what heroes do. And it was done in a funny way because he throws a ball and then he gets hit with it. The next one is see, Loki, life is it's about growth. It's about change. But you seem to just want to stay the same. I guess what I'm trying to say is that you'll always be the God of Mischief, but you could be more. And the last one is when Thor is being strangled by his sister Hela, and he has a vision of sorts, and he's talking with his father, and he says, "She's too strong. Without my hammer, I can't." And then Odin replies, "Are you Thor, the god of hammers? That hammer was to help you control your powers, to focus it. It was never your source of strength." And then he says a few things about Asgard is not a place, it's a people. And Thor says he's not as strong as him. But then Odin replies, "No, you're stronger." I think all those quotes and moments relate to each other in that the central theme that I'm looking at is growth. And I guess with the first one, kind of like identity. Because looking at it both from the movie standpoint and the story standpoint, Thor really comes into his own in this one. This is where we get the really funny and the really strong Thor. Yeah, his first Thor movie was good, and he was a great addition to the Avengers movies. And his second one was a little eh. And the second movie does set up for future events, but I feel like it's not as much as what Age of Ultron does to set up for Thor's storyline. But out of all the MCU, out of all the Avengers, and out of the few characters that have completed a trilogy, I feel that Thor exhibits the most growth out of all of them. And I'll get into that in a later video. But Thor went from arrogant prince into king of Asgard, and he thought he was going to be king of Asgard. And then Thor, the first Thor movie happened, and he wasn't so sure anymore. And then he joins the Avengers, and then the second movie happens, and he needs time to figure things out for himself. And then the second Avengers movie happens, and then here we are into his third movie, Thor Ragnarok. And he has a better sense of who he is. All the experiences that he went through was to lead up to that moment, and eventually later on to the moments in Infinity War. He got with Jane, broke up with Jane. He met the professor, and although it was a shame that they weren't around for the third movie, and especially his other friends, Warriors 3, he gets a better sense of who he is and what it is that he's meant to do. And I feel like that kind of reflects my own growth in a way, in that it's never too late. You never stop growing. I mean, I might have stopped physically growing, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, I'm still growing. I still have a lot to learn. I'm still learning. and I never know what's going to happen. Maybe I was always supposed to be an engineer. Maybe, you know, I was never supposed to be an engineer, and, being an engineer for a time was to set up for whatever's supposed to happen next. I'll never know until I get there. Sometimes I feel like I'm not who I thought I was. I'm not who I'm supposed to be yet. Like, I'll always have this goal. Like, I want to do this, or I want to be this. But that's never supposed to be the end. It's just the next checkpoint. Because, like Thor said, life is about growth. It's about change. And we could all be so much more.